Okay, this is like a 15-year-old kid from the UK, and he's he's a leftist. He's reacting to Tom Macdonald, and even even he's based knows what a shithole our politics and our media is. Oh Jesus, dude. Holy
Welcome back
fuck.
to another video. So today we are back with another Leftist reacts to Tom Macdonald. I haven't done one of these in a while. I've missed it. I'm looking forward to getting back into this. But yeah, as always, I'll probably end up pausing and talking quite a lot during this video. So if you want to see a reaction that's just shorter and someone just taking in the song and not pausing loads, then this probably isn't the one for you. But I will try to come into this with an open mind as usual, but I will obviously be coming at it from a leftist and socialist point of view. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'll disagree with the stuff he says, because I end up actually agreeing with quite a lot of the points Tom Macdonald makes, because he doesn't really fit into the left or right thing. He's more of just a populist who hates everyone. And yeah, if you disagree with anything I say or disagree with anything that Tom Macdonald says, then let me know in the comments. And I usually try and reply to as many people as possible on these videos, and I'm very happy to have a discussion about anything you want in the comment section. So let's get into this. Tom Macdonald, this system. This came out a few weeks ago. I'm a bit late to it. It came out like a month ago. But yeah, let's get into it.
It's okay, bro. I was a year late.
Welcome to the world, baby boy. I'll paint you red and white and blue. The indoctrination starts as soon as you come out the womb. Pretty quick, we'll make you stupid with curriculums at school. And if the classroom doesn't do the trick, we'll make you watch the news. Pick your team, right or left, take the red pill or the blue. You can vote, but even if you win, still everyone will lose. Don't forget to buy designer, because Gucci makes you cool. We prioritize material belongings over truth. Get a job that you can...
There we go. That's what I mean. I said sometimes I agree with him. Every point he's just made in that first little verse, I agree with. Very much like a... I mean, he's making, like, socialist talking point of view, really, so it's, like, the first thing, like, you come out the womb, you're painted red and white and blue, like, he's talking about just methods of control, nationalism being a very big method of control, and then the media, school influencing you. American media is just crazy.
I got nothing for love but love for this kid. But it kills me, socialists and communists and Marxists and all these people that view capitalism as a more complete system of control than a system where everything goes through the government. The government owns corporations, the government owns your income, all money goes through them and then gets redistributed as they see fit. And then as soon as a little bit of corruption happens, imagine if the system was as corrupt as it is and these people got all the money and we only got back what they said we could have. Do you think that'd be better? So, I mean, to each his own. Our system is obviously struggling right now as well, but over and over and over, we've seen that the idealistic view of socialism and communism, while in a vacuum, is perfect. As soon as you add the crucial human ingredient, you completely fuck it all up. It just gets fucked. It's completely fucked. So,
I think sometimes from a UK perspective, it's hard to just understand the sheer massive bias of American media. It's crazy sometimes. Like, they're just propaganda machines. And in the UK, I mean, we have biased media, of course, and we don't have like completely objective media, but there's rules about objectivity, and the BBC is like...
I don't know his age. He looks like a high school kid to me. High school kid in the UK can see what fully grown. I mean, my dad. Oh man, my dad still watches the media broadcast organizations, which at one point had integrity. But there's a whole generation of people that are still trusting the old systems that have been fully corrupted and bought out. They're owned by the same people, you know? Like, you're not getting a diverse array of news sources. You're getting one or two, three at the most. And that's it. Unless you're seeking out really weird, independent, off-brand, unless you're going out of your way, what's being fed to you is just propaganda BS. And they know it in Europe, across the ocean. They can see it. It gets reported, and yet we're too close. I guess we don't have the perspective. A lot of us don't have the perspective to understand what's actually going on. I don't know how else to describe it.
Like legally has to be objective and like fairly down the middle and centrist. So it's like, yeah, of course we've got bias, but when you watch Fox and CNN as like an outsider perspective, someone that's not used to that, and you switch that on, or like I watch a clip on YouTube, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like you just have like it's just preaching to you. Like you have Tucker Carlson on who just like will just rally people behind these causes, and you have CNN who will just rally people behind these causes, and just it's not here's the facts, decide what you think. It's like think this. It's crazy from an outside perspective.
Real belongings over.
Maybe that is what is needed, because I think the BBC is full of shit and is in collusion with their government as well. I mean, it's Elon Musk put a tag on them that said state-sponsored media, because during the the thingy that happened in 2020, that you had to stay home all the time for, um, the government was dictating some of what was being reported and enforcing some level of cooperation. So their government and media is much more openly closely tied, and that's why Elon Musk labeled them as state-sponsored media, like propaganda. But in spite of the fact that ours is private, it's literally like these are the donors that are paying for the elections. They're just an extension. It's all money, just the same system of money. The politicians want to get rich. The corporate motherfuckers want to get rich. Everybody just want to get rich, and controlling you. Power is an analogy, um, or money is an analogy for power. So, by way of making money, they are making control.
Truth. Get a job that you can stand to.
Yeah, and that prioritize material belongings over truth. Again, another method of control: materialism, consumerism. It's like again. Like, it's a pretty leftist talking point. It's like, it's what I mean. I end up agreeing with quite a lot of the stuff he says. Materialism, form of control. You've just look, you don't have choice in politics, but look, you can go and eat at like 10 different fast food restaurants. You can go and shop at 10 different stores. Here's all the options of like new tech that you have. That's freedom, right? You're free to choose all of these things while the politicians get on with fucking you over. It's like,
yeah, same thing with removal of religion. Now you have the right to choose your own morality. Choose your own good and evil. The world is your oyster. You can be as bad or as good as you want. And most people default to bad. So as soon as they can corrupt you and remove your system of virtue and morals and principles, and you start to indulge yourself, they know that when the time comes for them to ask you to do evil upon your countrymen, do evil for them, you're going to be like, well, I mean, I'm already a piece of shit, I got nothing, no sort of values or guiding principles, so sure, why not? Are you going to pay me? Am I going to get a check? Oh, sure, we'll give you another evil stimmy check for doing bad shit. Yeah, here you go. Boom. $700. Same thing we gave the Hawaiians who lost everything. That seems fair, right? Compromise everything, all your morals and values, lose your house in a fire, mysterious fire that, I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world.
like, yeah, consumerism, materialism, property, all of that stuff. It's like, he's making kind of like an anarchist talking point there. Yeah, property is like a form of control and an illusion to freedom.
You can buy some cans of food, go overseas and die for freedom. There's some oil we could use. Our democracy exists so that you think that you...
Again, anti-imperialism. Like, yeah, you're fighting for freedom, but you're bringing back the sweet oil money for the American government.
You can choose, but our algorithms make you do what we want you to do. What's the problem?
Don't take yourself out of this. Your government's just as complicit. With the whole system. Listen, I'm a dinosaur. Listen to the youth. This young kid knows what's fucking going on. And very refreshing for a change to hear some common sense and logic after hearing such diarrhea from most people. When I start looking up like leftist views instead of the curated content that pops in my feed, I start seeing like normal people. Somehow it's just the stuff that shows up in my shit feed that that somehow it's got all this crazy shit going on that makes me say, what is going on? What planet am I on? Is this the same, like the Mandela effect? Who cares about the little, oh, Berenstein or Berenstain? Like, did Mandela die in prison or did he live? Who cares? The real Mandela effect is like, what fucking planet are we on? And what sort of fucking brainworm has infected, the human population? What is there, a little fucking ant in there like running people's brains? I don't get it. Or that's what they want you to think. But then, people are thinking. They're using their brain. Use your brain. Don't listen. Don't use your ears. Use your own brain. Don't listen to bullshit.
Society has you confused. We got medication for you that you'll probably abuse. Go get married to a lady who also don't have a clue, and pump out a few babies that are just the same as you. Welcome to the system. Everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system. Everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence.
Okay, that's a point I'd like to pick up. Like it doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Again, like I can't, like, again, it's very much true. Like the system, you're gonna get fucked either way, right? If you're born into poverty, you're born into the working class, or just born into the middle class, right? You're gonna get fucked either way. It's very unlikely you will ever have like a fulfilling, meaningful, and good material conditions in your life. But there is definitely a difference between race in America. But it's like, so you look at social mobility statistics and the chances of a black person getting out of poverty compared to a white person getting out of poverty from the same starting point, the black person is still less likely to rise up the socioeconomic ladder. You're still less likely to escape poverty as a black person, because it's like white supremacy is slightly built into that American system, and it's very hard to displace that once it's happened already. So, true, like, you're fucked either way, but a bit more nuance to it, because
we've done everything that we fucking possibly can, including affirmative action, which is now, in some cases, being judged as racist by the communities that it supposedly benefits, because they're realizing that once you open the door to a corruption of the idea of meritocracy, where the people who are most deserving of the role, once you fucking throw that out, you now open the door to all kinds of special privileges, and just because you're the group that needs help right now, what stops someone else from leapfrogging you because they made the case that they're more disenfranchised and they've had a harder go at it? So once you depart from an actual rational, sound system, then you open the door to all kinds of human manipulation and just general corruption and confusion. So I think that this is a little bit of propaganda talking. I think that it's very hard to argue that anyone in America is explicitly being singled out and oppressed. I think we are really trying to do the best that we can as imperfect human beings to give everybody a decent, fair shot. Treat people with respect. Just don't shit on my porch, Don't blow up my mailbox. What's wrong with you? Just let me live my life, and I'll let you live yours.
there is still differences, but I like the rhetoric, right? Because this is the best thing that the billionaire class and the political elites can do, is divide the working class, because the working class are the dangerous ones, right? If the working class all get the ideas where they all have the same ideas, they all start realising, oh shit, we're getting fucked over here. We should have more money. We should be able to feed our children. We should have healthcare. If the working class suddenly start realising that, then they become a threat. So you want to find ways to divide them. You want to find methods of dividing the working class, because once they're divided, they're not a threat. They'll just argue with each other. So you find things like Black Lives Matter, or like Antifa, or trans people, or abortion. That's the way you divide the working class and stop them being a threat. I like the rhetoric. It's a good rhetoric. You're all getting fucked over either way. You need to wake up. I don't get it. Yeah, class consciousness.
He's 40, baby. Inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the world, baby girl. I'll paint you pink if that's okay. We'll encourage self-destruction through the music that you play. We divided all the men by trying politics and race, and honestly, it's working awesome. So for you, we'll do the same. Never teaching you to love yourself, inject you full of hate, objectify your sexuality, then blame you for the rape, and weaponize the differences that make our men and women great. Then just to screw with you,
there we go again. And Tom Macdonald coming out as like a big leftist right now.
Make our men and women great, then just to screw with you, erase the genders. Everyone's the same. We'll empower you with rights to vote and fight for equal pay, then have the men turn into women and you'll fight for them again. But you thought you...
I mean, the most important thing we can do is dispense with this bullshit left and right, you know, like, it's the people that are getting fucked and the ones doing the fucking. And if you ain't doing the fucking, if you're not oppressing people, then you're getting fucked. Some of us are aware of it, and others are more experienced, and it's kind of like throwing a hot dog down the hallway so you don't even know it's happening. You're like, what? Was that a breeze? No, that was another hot dog just being chucked down there, you know? Come on. Wake up. Do some Kegels or something. Tighten up.
You had it figured out, but everything has changed. Welcome to the system. Please enjoy your stay.
That's where it falls down a bit for me. Like, yeah, I kind of get the point he's trying to make. Like, the whole transgender issue is definitely used as like a way to divide people and like overblown as an issue. Like, transgender people are talked about so much in the media, and it's like so much focus is put on the issue when realistically it should be a pretty simple issue. Like, just like let them get on with their lives. Like, it don't matter. But it's just like every media question with a politician's like, what's a woman? What do you think of trans people in sport? Like, kids on puberty blockers, like blah blah blah. It's like, it's such an overblown issue. But I don't. Like, let me listen to what he said again. It's like here.
We'll empower you with rights to vote and fight for equal pay, then have the men turn into women and you'll fight for them again. But you thought you had it figured out, but everything has changed. Welcome to the system. Please enjoy your stay. Here's a Bible and a...
So he's painting it as if it's almost the establishment and the elites have like planned transgenderism. So it's like they've used it as they've created.
No, it's a rope-a-dope, and it's just to sow confusion and disagreement. This is not a large issue. Like, this is not something where most Americans are gonna decide to become transgender. Like, most people that's not their primary focus, is like, what gender am I? Most people are trying to figure out, like, how can I live a good life? What could make me happy? And like, whether or not I'm identifying as a woman or a man, for me, not even ever been a consideration. Just kind of like, I went through adolescence, I accepted my face, I accepted my body, I've spent my adult life trying to accept everything else about me, and this has never been, you know, if I was a child and it was prompted, if I was groomed into thinking about this, and someone was like, hey, you know, Einstein has these cool, you know, theory of relativity and stuff, and by the way, you might want to also consider as part of, you know, your lesson today, what gender are you? This was never fucking brought up to me, and it never occurred to me naturally. I don't think it does occur to most people naturally. This is manufactured, it's fabricated. So, you know, he's kind of saying that he doesn't think that that's the case. I'm not saying that at its root it was fabricated. It's real. However, it's just amplified. The volume on it is turned up because they've seen what a polarizing, divisive issue, and they're pushing it further to the point where people are legitimately claiming that they're going after the kids, and they're chanting this, and then they're trying to say it's a joke. But when you get a crowd of 100+ adults to chant that we're coming for your kids, that's not a joke. That's not irony. One or two, sure, they're being ironic. But a crowd of 100 humans, only half of them at best are capable of irony. So the rest of them were chanting it, even if the ones who started the chant were being ironic for the cameras. The bulk of them started chanting it because they're on board with the leader of the chant, and they're like, yeah, we're coming for your kids.
It and then used it as a way to fuck over women or divide the genders. And it's like, no, transgenderism's a thing. It's been a thing since like Roman emperors were showing signs of of wanting to be women. Like, it was a Roman emperor, I can't remember his name. The Roman emperor who wanted a surgery to make him a woman and wanted to be called a woman, wanted his whole name changed, all of that stuff. Like, it's a thing. It's just a human condition, right? Some people are just born like that. So it's not. I don't think it's a thing that's been created, but it's definitely used for a way to divide people. It's used as like it gets overblown and it gets made such a big deal of that it's all people talk about. So then they don't talk about their material conditions and why they can't feed their children.
My British son and I, we're on the same page. He's got curly hair. I've got no hair. We're basically brothers from a different country and different mothers.
Bottle of the cheapest booze we make. Find a man who can take care of you to fill the holes we made. Buy a house and settle down, fulfill your duty, procreate, and make a couple babies who will also do the same. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're
feminist Tom Macdonald.
Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim. Doesn't matter if you're black or...
We could dispense with the feminist and ally and all the shit. Like, if you're just trying to do the right thing for everybody and you're not trying to fuck other people over and be evil, then you're all those things without needing to be labeled. If you label me, you negate me.
You all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom. Fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the world, everybody. I'ma paint you black and white. I'ma make you hate each other so that everyone will fight. I'ma give you our religion, let the righteous find the light. But I will also give you science to oppose the word of Christ. And I'ma give you borders, they're imaginary lines. If you cross them, go to war and win when everybody dies. And I'ma give you money that you'll value more than life. And let the 1% have everything while you fight to survive. And then I'll give you politics.
There we go. He's ripped off his mask and he's become a socialist. No, it's like, yeah, again, socialist talking points. It's like religion as a method of control, and what did he say after that?
Value more than life and let the 1% have every price. And I'ma give you money that you'll value religion, let the righteous find the light, but I will also give you science to oppose the word of Christ. And I'ma give you borders, they're imaginary.
The border stuff, right? So it's like borders are a myth, so there's not like, very much like an internationalist, socialist point of view. Not really.
The thing that borders really protect us from is a global cabal that rules everybody, that consolidates media, consolidates government. Now, you're inside the same system that I'm in, and if it gets corrupt, we're all deeply, deeply fucked. That's the real danger. I mean, that's one of the only purposes of nationalism is the same concept of states inside the United States. And the reason for state government, local government, is to represent local interests better than the federal government can. Federal government is actually supposed to be very limited and in a lot of cases overreaches substantially. And if you think that's bad, if you think the federal government sucks, imagine having a global government that oppresses people of all races on all continents and has even more power and is even harder to resist and talk back against, because they probably take, as part of the global reforms, free speech would have to go. We'd have to be able to, we'd have to control that along with everything else.
A socialist point of view, but then the 1% monies are like an illusion to control you.
3 lines, if you cross them, go to war and win when everybody dies. And I'ma give you money that you'll value more than life, and let the 1% have everything while you fight to survive. And then I'll give you politics, I'll call it left and right. And while you divide yourselves, I will conquer both the sides. Can't you see? I'm the system, my whole purpose is divide. What you choose will never matter because everything is mine.
So to me, this represents, like, the whole left and right stuff he's talking about, it represents the disillusionment in America, right, where the left isn't representing the people. And to me, I'm a socialist, right? I believe that left-wing politics is the way that the working class are empowered. It's the way to improve society. It's the way to enhance everyone's material conditions so everyone is given the basics in life and then can go on to be happy and fulfill their potential. But I think this shows the disillusionment that the Democrats have, where they're not leftists, right? So I don't believe that left and right is like a thing that's created to control people. I believe that the right wing is the controlling class, and I mean, there's lots of people on it. Yeah, not the right wing's controlling class, but I believe socialism is the.
Conservatives have become counterculture because culture is telling you that you can't speak, you can't do any of this stuff, at least in America. Republicans are the punk rockers and the rebellious motherfuckers, They traditionally were suit wearing, buttoned up. You can't say that. We are not going to stand for it. And now we're like, dude, can you what? We like live and let live. This is like dog whistling is real, and it seems to be on the left because it's like just normal sane people are being their base is being dog whistled into believing that normal middle of the road like moderates, not even conservatives, are right wing extremists.
The anti-establishment ideology. I believe socialism is the thing that will solve lots of the problems that Tom Macdonald is talking about, but that's not going to come in the form of the Democratic Party. So left and right in America are very much both bad, if you know what. So it's like, I get what he's saying about left and right both being bad. I think that applies to America, but not necessarily the rest of the world. So it's like Bernie Sanders, for example. He would solve lots of these issues. He would make America a better place, but he's never going to win a Democratic primary. He's never going to become the Democrat leader because the left in America are not socialists. They're not leftists. They're not representing these things that I believe or that socialists believe.
Conquer both the sides, can't you see? I'm the system, my whole purpose is divide. What you choose will never matter because everything is mine. Welcome to the system.
I think that might be my criticism of Tom Macdonald, is that he paints all of these issues as issues with the system as a kind of enigma. It's not a defined thing. Whereas I think these issues are inherent to capitalism and to imperialism and to conservatism, right? I think these are issues that can be.
The system? Apparently he's got no idea what happened in the USSR. And if you don't either, then look up how many people Stalin murdered, and all the poverty. I mean, part of the reason we beat them is because in a system that doesn't have true competition, you have to invent things for people to do. They're not naturally trying to rise them. They're not trying to raise themselves up. So you get stagnation, and people are comfortable just to take the government bread and whatever, just do the bare minimum. There's no striving for excellence. There's no cream floating to the top because there's no incentive. There's no extra money for being excellent. It's only by just principled human beings that just want to be the best that they can, and not everybody has that inside them. Some people need the additional motivation of money and recognition and things like that. So I think that he's just a little bit naive. I still think he's a great kid, but we just have a slightly different idea of the idea that his system doesn't have any of the flaws. I'm actually not saying that our system is any better. I'm saying that both systems have their own fucking massive problems, because I will admit one thing: capitalism is predicated on infinite growth, infinite production, competition, and we live on a finite planet. So we will eventually run into a situation where, unless we stop the consumption and the production and the wastefulness of that system of incessantly just more, which in a cooperative system you might be able to get out from underneath that. You might be able to get people to work toward a common goal, like what they would try to do if the aliens got here: unite us, get us to work toward defending the planet. So in a communist system, technically, you're working for the greater good. You're working for a collective. So under a non-corrupt, somehow, system that human beings are put in charge of and then choose not to completely debase the whole thing and rob it, yeah, we potentially could all work together. And instead of building a new iPhone every year, we could actually work toward, you know, passing one of the great filters, because right now we're still under the great filter of being a single planet species. So one giant asteroid just kind of like floats over here and that's it, you know. Luckily we got the ocean, won't wipe out all life, but anything that's on land will probably get scorched. So I have to agree and say technically it would be better to be part of a cooperative system where we're all working together. But we got a lot of work to do before we could trust that it's not going to be corrupted and that people are even going to be able to interface on that level and get along and everybody love each other and work together, you know? That'd be ideal. But I think baby steps, you know, let's fix the issues at hand and then work on enlightenment and true collectivism. I think if we all took mushrooms, we could do it. I think if we all were like tripping balls and actually facing our issues and becoming better people, it would work. I think it would.
Explained with economic distribution and the economic model of capitalism. And I think that's the difference I would have with Tom Macdonald. I don't just believe it's the system. I believe there's a very specific cause for all of these problems, and that is the economic organisation of an economy in a capitalist way where individuals can accumulate wealth by exploiting the labour of others.
Everyone's a victim, doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom, fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim, doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom, fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong. Welcome to the system, everyone's a victim, doesn't matter if you're black or white, it hates you all. Here inside the system, violence is a symptom, fighting for what's right, but somehow everyone is wrong.
There we go. Like, that's a song where he has said probably what 90% of stuff, and I've agreed with it. There we go. It's the left and right thing is not a real thing with Tom Macdonald. Like, people paint him as a conservative. He's definitely not a conservative. He's very much more just like a populist, like anarchist tendencies, I guess.
Anti-establishment.
And populism will lend itself to being left and right in different circumstances. And populism at the moment in America is seen as the conservative thing, right? Because Trump got the nomination instead of Bernie Sanders. If Bernie Sanders had been competing against, you know, an establishment Republican, it could have gone the other way. But populism is very much seen as the right wing ideology right now. But I think populism actually generally shares more stuff with the left and socialism, and that's why there's so many kind of socialist adjacent talking points in this. But yeah, I agree with most of the stuff he said, and I like the rhetoric in this. The rhetoric in this is like, stop thinking about all of these like things that don't really matter or these insignificant issues and focus on the real thing, which is the system. I call it capitalism, he calls it the system. Start focusing on the real thing, which is like, you can't feed your kids, you can't get a house, you haven't got healthcare, you haven't got all these material things when some people have got more than, you know, anyone would ever need. So yeah, I like the rhetoric. There we go, Tom Macdonald, I'm back. How long have I talked for? 15 minutes. That's not too bad. I've talked for longer in some of these videos before. Let me know if you want to see more of these, and I can drop another one of these when Tom Macdonald does drop a new song. Or if there's other songs, I know he's got other big songs out there that I could react to, so yeah, this video as well.
Yeah, so I kind of doubled it. My bad. Sorry for making you guys sit through all that, but I hope that you enjoyed seeing that a young kid from across the pond is getting jiggy with it over there, and he's down to clown. You know what I mean? You know, he's young. I was probably way dumber than him at his age. So overall, I'd say he's crushing it. You know, and he's got a pretty decent YouTube channel. Way to go, kid! I'm proud of you. TW reacts. Leftist reacts to Tom Macdonald, the system. Okay? Don't forget it. I love you guys. Take care. See you soon.